Lukaku. Proposal expected around 120/130 million euros after an opening bid has been turned down. Chelsea fans, give us a call, let us know. I want to know from you guys, what's better value for money? Lukaku at 120 million or Kane at 150 million? I'll start with you, Kay. What's the better deal there, do you think?
I would say Harry Kane.
For the extra 30 million?
Yeah, for the extra 30 million, just because of the proven record in the Premier League of 1 in 2.
Lukaku got a good record in the Prem.
Well, I thought he was unfairly criticised actually at Manchester United, because everybody was saying about his first touch was getting away from him, and he was playing it it wasn't one of the greatest Man United sides, was it? So, no. And I think if you look at his record at Manchester United, 66 Premier League games, 28 goals. So everywhere he's been, he's a 1 in 2, apart from at Manchester United, or better than a 1 in 2, and that's including international football and scoring goals, obviously, in like Italian football. So I think he's another one as well. When he went out on loan, maybe at Manchester United, he was a bit young. Now he's sort of matured and has got that confidence and that self-assuredness in front of goal, what maybe he didn't have before, because he did used to probably miss, to be put in that top bracket, he probably did miss too many chances. Now you could say he's more ruthless and he's a better finisher than what he was. But
for sure.
I just think there's percentage of guarantee wise, I think they're just a little bit more with Harry Kane in his all-round game and his finishing. But either one, they're going to make. If he goes to Chelsea, it'd make a massive difference.
Chelsea fans, give us a call and let us know what your thoughts are on that. Does this mean that the Haaland thing isn't going to happen? Well, I can't see you buying both. You've moved your attentions even to Lukaku. A few texts here. Glenn from Reading, biggest letdown, Memphis Depay, who came to the club too early in his career, and most impressed by Michael Carrick. Legend has got there. Stan Collymore looked like a world beater at Forest, flopped big star at Liverpool. We've got here also, great show, guys. Villa fan signed Leon Bailey, Bundia from Norwich, James Ward-Prowse maybe on the way, Villa from Southampton, Dean Smith, solid manager, top 8 finish is realistic. And one more here, Spurs not ready, Brian still in Tokyo, and if we are signing defenders, they need time to learn the system and each other. Romelu is a great signing, it solves problems. I think squad for squad par 7th or 8th. Not sure who you're comparing to there.
Themselves.
John. It must be. Keep your calls and texts coming in. Let us know how well you think your club's going to do. Chelsea fans, are you having Lukaku? You know, it's a lot of money to spend on a player that you had at your club a few years back. Let's now speak to 100% Mo and find out what he thinks regarding flops and successes. Hi Mo, how you doing?
Good evening, my friend. It's the first time I've spoken to you.
Good evening.
Good evening. I've spoken to Perry loads of times, the greatest winger Arsenal has ever produced.
Go on there. Go on, 100%.
Call me my right name. He calls me Jerry. He must be in a good mood, Mo.
Cundy's not there, is he?
Exactly, yeah, that's a good point, yeah. It's time to be respectful, Mo, isn't
brings the worst out of me.
And many others.
I've got a couple of points, so quickly, I'll get through to them quickly.
Go for it, pal.
Liverpool's the best player was Suarez.
So in terms of overachieving,
unbelievable, unbelievable.
So when he joined the club, you didn't have high expectations for him.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
The only thing I saw of him was that year in the World Cup when he handballed the ball. You know, when he got sent off in the semi-final, was it?
Yeah.
In the semi-final, and I thought, do you know what? This guy's got something about him because he wanted to win. The flop. Akulani.
Yes, good shout.
Is that the midfield player?
Good shout, yeah.
Yeah. Poor chap was always injured.
He was.
And my third point, just going off, look, Harry Kane, what Harry Kane's doing, the media, everybody's just laying off the guy because he's England captain. Last year was Wilf Zaha. Zaha got more stick. Do you know what I mean? What I'm asking is, how come Harry Kane's not getting much stick? He's not training up or training and everything. You don't do that, especially when he's signed a 6-year contract. Surely he's got to go to training and everything. Do you know what I mean? And sort everything out. I
do. Cheers for the call, Mo. I actually agree with you. I think there's reports coming out that he will be returning to training this week. But the fact that he, by reports we're told, refused to train yesterday, I think is a disgrace. I think it's out of order. I don't think it's acceptable. And I think there's an element, we spoke about it last night, didn't we, that he's the England golden boy at the moment. He's getting a little bit of a pass I don't know how it's gonna play out for Spurs.
You should always. We spoke about last night, Jordan. Leave in the right way with respect. And there's more to this. There's personality, isn't it? Obviously, with Daniel Levy, if he thinks that he's been an agreement's been reneged on, does he think that Daniel Levy, because he's a Tottenham boy, this is his salvo saying, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get out of this. And people say about the 6-year contract, he signed it when he was 25, and Spurs were obviously on the up at that time then, and he probably thought they were going to invest in the team, which we spoke about last night. Then he gets to 28. And there should have been had foresight to have a release clause in his contract, and then it went. But verbal agreements, I was looking. When people said they're not worth the paper they're written on, basically, but verbal agreements can be legally binding, but if both people agree that conversation took place. So if one party says no, I didn't say that, or that didn't happen, then you've got no leg to stand on.
I think it's important to know what the agreement
exactly
was. Was it agreement on a fee?
That's going to come out.
Do you know what I mean? Was it agreement that you could go if X happens or Y happens?
As it gets a little bit messier and messier, which it's going to be, because Harry Kane will do more. Daniel Levy wants him to put a transfer request in, probably, because it'd probably save 20 million quid, on signed non-fees. So if I was Harry Kane, I would actually say, what actually happened? I had a conversation, if it did go on, at the beginning of the season, last season, when Jose Mourinho come in and said, give me one more season, he's going to change, the culture at the football club, we're going to become, and if it doesn't happen, then I'll let you go. If that was the conversation, Harry Kane should come out and say it.
I heard Andy Townsend on Drive earlier today, and he put out a really great question to Spurs fans, which was, let's assume that conversation did happen between Kane and Levy. Let's say there was an agreement. As Spurs fans, are you okay? Are you cool with Levy going back on his word if it's for the betterment of the club? So basically, can you do the wrong thing to do the right thing?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting question to put out there. Would you, as a Spurs fan, actually be like, no, it's really bad that you've kind of gone back on your word to somebody, but his first interest isn't Harry Kane. His first interest is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. In
business, right? In any sort of business, businessmen are ruthless, aren't they? Yeah. And they might have a conversation, and they might just think in normal business, and football is a business now. Oh yeah, I said it, but that doesn't matter. I just said it just to get him to sign whatever. But Harry Kane's point is, no, my word is my bond, and if I've had that conversation with you, then I trust you. Now you're letting me down. So, and then I said, matter of principles come into this, and Harry Kane is 28. He's 28. This is his time now to go. If he doesn't go now, then it ain't happening.
So just quickly, super quickly, if it was an Arsenal player, would you say the same thing? If it was an Arsenal player, Arsenal's best player wanted to leave, let's say it was Saka at the moment, and there was an agreement between Saka and Arteta that he could go after the Euros.
Absolutely.
And they had agreed verbally, Saka wanted out. Would you back Saka's wanting to leave Arsenal?
Yes, because if he had that agreement, and let's be realistic, Harry Kane is too good for Tottenham Hotspur. He's beyond them. We had it, George, with Roman van Persie.
Yeah.
Right,
he was too good for Arsenal.
He looked at that time, Man United winning stuff. He's like, no, I'm off. A lot of Arsenal fans got the ump with that, and I was, no, 100% I get him, because we're nowhere near Manchester at the moment. Okay. He's gone for 30 million in the end. He'll get a better wage packet, but he's gone because he wants to win trophies. 100%. You have to understand sometimes where you are in the food chain, and we wasn't nowhere near winning titles even when Van Persie. We've had all our players go to Man City.
And win things as well.
Exactly.
Let's speak to Neil, the Chelsea supporter now. Good evening, Neil.
Oh, good evening, fellas. How you doing?
Very, very good, mate. Who are the two players that one really let you down after talking him up, and one that you had low expectations for, who ended up ripping it up?
Well, the one that really let me down was Mutu. I remember, because I was a season ticket holder at the time, and he was really, really good at the time. But after that, I don't know what happened. I think London got to him, and then he just flopped.
He had all the off-field stuff, didn't he, Mutu? As you said, I think it was Bright Lights, Big City?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who was the person that overachieved for you?
Well, this might surprise you, but it was Didier Drogba. In his first season, he was just terrible. His control, he was missing. He just couldn't score. But I think it was about the third season, he was really good.
Do you know, as well, people forget Drogba couldn't stand up. In his first season,
it was awful.
He kept diving,
didn't
he? And then obviously, again, he did a few weights, and he come back, he filled out, and then he become an absolute perfect specimen of a centre forward, a big, strong centre forward, but he was quick, wasn't he? He was strong. He could
was.
finish. Could head.
Just quickly, Neil. Just briefly, there's news breaking that you guys are putting a second bid for Lukaku. Would you be happy with that? Is that the right move? Do you think for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think so. We just really desperately need a striker that could score like 20, 25 goals a season. We just don't have that at the moment.
No, you don't. Werner had an indifferent season last year. Let's put it that way for sure. Keep your calls coming in. Chelsea fans, let us know. Are you excited about Lukaku potentially returning to the Bridge? Sports fans, let us know. Football fans, let us know who's prepared for the season incoming and who is genuinely concerned and who was a player that you thought, actually he might do all right, but probably not. That ended up surprising you. Let us know. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT in partnership with Bet365.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday night from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.